Welcome back to the channel. Got another video today for you. You've been following along. I did a video not that long ago, and I'll put it in the card to the top right of your screen about how to change the furnace filter. And that's just an important thing to do because that helps the longevity of your furnace and your AC if you have a combination or even if you just have a heater. So what I'm going to do is show you on a different system, because in that one, you might remember I just had to pull out one filter and that was it. But I'm going to show you today a different type of scenario where there'll be other ways to find and locate those filters and how to replace them. So stick along, some more tips and tricks in this video, and as well as feel free to check out the other one. And the cool thing, you really don't need much to do this job. You might need a pen so you can write down when the filters are being replaced, just so you have an idea and reference going forward if you want to check in on them and see how long they're holding up, how dirty they're getting, and how quickly. And then sometimes a screwdriver, nut driver, sometimes there's some screws or whatnot to gain access. But that's it. Let's jump into this. So just below my furnace, you can see that I have a filter right here inside this return. And the way that I know that it's a return is, if you remember my last video, I discussed that cold air returns do not have any switches or handles on them that you can change the flow here, because a vent pushes out air, a cold air return sucks in air. So another way that you can test is, if you don't see any levers to open or close this, you can also look for putting a piece of paper or a bill or something to see if it's sucking in air. Obviously hold on to it so it doesn't go into your system, but that's an easy way to check if it is a return vent rather than a register that's pushing out air. So super easy. All we need to do is open up these tabs. One here, one here. This folds down, and as you can see, that looks pretty gross. Here's a new one. So obviously that one's needing replaced. So I'm going to take that out. And then just watching the arrows here, when I put them back in, that it follows the direction of flow. You can also check the filter when you pull it out, just to make sure you know the direction. Yeah, always good to check that so you make sure the filter's facing the right direction. Another thing too is, if for some reason there's no filter in here, or it's lost or doesn't have the dimensions, what you can do is you can use your handy tape measure, and the filter is actually just the size of this opening. So as you can see here, it's a roughly 24 by 10 inches, and it's only an inch deep, if I show you the old one here. Right, so there you go. So this is a 10 or 24 by 10 by 1 filter. Obviously I can see the dimensions on here, but just a helpful tip in case you forgot, you threw it away, whatever. So there's that. So yeah, that's as simple as it is. The last thing I'll do is I'll just write down here on the filter somewhere the date, the month and the year, just so I remember when I replaced it. And we'll close it on up. Okay, so that's one down. Now I'm just going to look through the house and make sure there's no more. Again, looking at those registers, or excuse me, those returns, see if there's any more filters. Here's another one. Same thing, not going to do too much talking, but you'll get an idea of the process. Looks like I actually have another one right over here I need to do. Alright, when they're tough like this to get off, the tip to use is literally a tip of the screwdriver. Flathead screwdriver can sometimes help if you just put it up here and then just wedge, pry up. Look at that. Now you don't have to hurt your fingers. Might be wise to also put some electrical tape on the tip of this just so you don't scar it up As you can see, it looks like there has been some previous damage on here. Just a helpful tip. Wow. Thank goodness I'm doing this. Imagine air trying to get through there. I mean, look how thick that is. There we go, another one up there. So I'm going to tackle that one. You get the idea. There's those two metal tabs, same deal. Open those, pull the filter down, check the direction, put the new one in. I'm happy I did that one too. Look how bad that is. You don't want that much gunk making there be more restriction on your HVAC system. Trust me. Cheaper to replace these than to replace an entire system. Looks like we got one more here, a little bit bigger. So I'm going to take that one down, and you get the idea. Look how bad that one is too. Jeez. Okay, so there's the return. Let me give you an idea of an actual vent that supplies air. So again, just looking through the house, and as you can see here, this one actually has a valve and a lever that you can control, shutting that or opening that, moving that direction of flow. That is not a return. That is a supply. So therefore, don't need to worry about that. There's not going to be any filters in there. So if you see levers or switches, know that that supplies air. But if you see something like this, that there's nothing permitting you to open or close it, that's most likely going to be a return. And that's where you should check for filters. So that's it. That's how you change a filter on your furnace, your HVAC system. And just because it's a simple job, don't think that it's not an important job. Definitely keep an eye on your filters, replace them often, because again, it's cheaper to replace these and easier to replace these than hiring someone to replace an entire system. So just keep an eye on it, be aware of where they are, use some of the tips and tricks like I mentioned, marking when you've changed them, buying some in advance. That's honestly a common problem sometimes that people have with their HVAC systems not working, cutting off, things like that. Sometimes it's just as simple as replacing these filters because again, they get so gunged up with, look at that. And if you have pets and whatnot, these get clogged up even faster. And when these get clogged up, your system doesn't run as efficiently. Sometimes it even has settings to shut off if there's not enough supply of the air that it needs. And just to give you an idea, I mean, a clean filter, you can see light through pretty readily. Look at this. I mean, yeah, you can see light, but look at that. I mean, how is air going to go through that rather easily if it's that dirty? So keep an eye on these things, change them often, and you'll keep your HVAC system running for a good long time. Thanks for watching. Put any comments or questions down in the comment section below. I appreciate you watching, and see you in the next one.